Welcome to All Can, No Can't, the podcast where we toss out excuses, face our fears, and reclaim control. I'm Jeff Luther, your guide to mastering the chaos and turning obstacles into opportunities. Whether you're an entrepreneur navigating the ups and the downs of building a successful business, or someone ready to rewrite the rules of your life, this is your space to grow, to push boundaries, and to embrace doing the hard shit that leads to greatness. Together, we'll explore stories of resilience, strategies for overcoming, and the mindset shifts that let you build a life on your terms. I use my experience with a life-altering diagnosis to help you find the can in every can't. So buckle up, because it's time to stop living in can't and start thriving in all can. You choose. Welcome back. I'm your host, Jeff Luther, and today we're lucky enough to have a guest that experienced the same issue that most of us experience in the home service businesses, and that's trouble hiring. And oftentimes the lack of confidence in hiring is the biggest limiting factor in the growth of our organization. Dr. Neal is a practicing optometrist. He has his own practice. He suffered the same as the rest of us. I know it seems odd, but we'll walk you through all of this and what he did to alleviate these issues. He founded Build My Team to help solve his own hiring struggles. And we got a rare opportunity to learn more about it. Michael, thanks for being with us. Thanks for carving out the time.
Oh, my pleasure, Jeff. I'm excited to talk with you again today.
Yeah, this is fun. All right, you own your own practice. I want to be very clear that you own your practice first. You're an optometrist. You're a practicing doctor.
Yeah.
You are not a company that is a staffing agency or anything like that. You had a problem that we all experience, and you found a solution.
I did, and my wife and I own the practice together. Boy, it's been a roller coaster, to say the least, on the staffing side of things. I would imagine pretty similar to what you do.
Yeah, that's always been the biggest limiting factor is the hiring. There's a lot of fear around it as well. And much like in your business, you hire, like let's say you're hiring front office staff.
Yep.
Not only do you have to hire, so there's a cost there, but then you have the cost that you're investing in the training. Mm-hmm. So you do this 10 times in a row and you fail 10 times in a row. And then you're just like, fuck it. I'm just not going to hire anyone. I'm just not going to do it. I'll just suffer. I'm going to suffer one way or the other. Does that sound familiar to what you were going through?
Yes. However, we are forced to hire people because folks come in the front door. So that we started out like that, and we were essentially hiring wrong. I mean, there's so many things. I think your listeners will scratch their head and say, oh yeah, that's me. I mean, We did it all wrong. We were hiring essentially as doctors trying to help people. We wanted to hire folks who we could make better, we could improve, we could help out, we could do all those things. Yeah. And what we weren't doing, Jeff, we're hiring performers.
Yeah.
We weren't hiring the we all talk about the superstars, the rock stars. Well, they're kind of A players in a business, and we weren't hiring those folks. We were stoically and methodically targeting the D players.
That resonates with me and probably with a lot of our listeners. I can tell you exactly why I did it. Okay. Number one was cost. I wouldn't admit that at the time, but it was cost. But number two, just like you said, I thought, okay, well, I get the D player. They're a D player because no one's ever led them properly. I can build these folks. I can lead them. I can get them on rowing in our direction. Does that sound like something you may have experienced?
Yes. However, what I realized is they're great at sinking the boat.
Yeah.
They're not rowing in your direction. They're going to sink.
They're not rowing at all.
No, they're going to sit back and the real issue is that, and this is what Build My Team has been able to completely solve. It's that we have to hire people who are naturally good at the position. Oh, okay. Well, everybody can agree on that.
Yeah.
Wave the magic wand. How the heck do we do that? I'm not Harry Potter. So how do you do that? We've created a process where we identify what those natural strengths and talents are. It's completely automated. It's a done-for-you service. And what this results in is that a person who shows up for work, doesn't really realize why everybody's so excited about what they're doing, They go into work, they do their thing. There's no drama. They just do their thing. They go home, and at the end of the day, you're scratching your head saying, "Holy cow! I can't believe we have this amazing person." And that's what we've been able to create, is that process. It's now in over 10 different healthcare professions, all kinds of different non-healthcare professions throughout North America.
That's awesome. So tell me this, where did you, because this is what I'm really curious about in my own business. I do remember hiring, and I do remember the problems that I had, and I do remember me being the biggest bottleneck once I've failed so many times. But I don't remember where I finally had like that aha moment. This is where I'm messing up. This is where the gap is. What was the biggest gap that you guys had in the hiring process? Was it we're not reviewing resumes correctly? Was it phone interviews, phone screens, initial interview?
All the above. And I'll tell you why. The core foundational problem was using resumes to hire. Now, that's coming at folks who are listening to this like, well, what the hell else are you going to use?
Right.
Well, what we were doing is using resumes and the fundamental problem here is they don't tell you what a person's good at.
Yeah.
It's just a work history.
Yep.
And work history in air quotes, like
Right.
double air quotes.
Work history-ish.
That you want to hear. It's not going to talk about how you took those 6 months off to sit on your couch and become the ruler of Xbox or, those types of things. It just doesn't talk about that. So what we did with Build My Team, before there was Build My Team, is we started to take a look at companies like the Four Seasons, Disney, these really super high performing service organizations. How the heck are they doing it? Like they just put one person after another in front of customers that rock.
Yep.
And if you've ever stayed at a place like that or gone to Disney, you just don't have bad experiences.
Right.
Right? Like almost never. And so I took a look at their processes to how they're hiring these people. And shockingly, they weren't using resumes to start out with. They flipped the whole thing upside down, Jeff.
Okay.
So whereas we were using resumes, they would start out with an assessment process. Of course, you submit a resume so they get your contact information and that. But they would start out by assessing everybody. They would start out by figuring out who could not do the job, who would not be able to do the job. And then they refined those, got rid of the folks who couldn't do the job, and took the remaining ones and figured out who would be best at it. So this is a subtle difference, but when you're getting resumes across your desk for whatever position you're hiring for, what you're trying to do is pick the winners. Pick the right people for the job.
Yeah.
What they were doing is saying there's way too many of these. We're never going to be successful at that. Let's eliminate the ones who can't do the job, won't do the job, don't want to get off their butt to take an assessment, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And so they minimized the amount of people they had to sort through. Massive, massive time savings.
Okay.
And that's where they started. And so we started out by patterning our approach after what they were doing to be successful.
Okay. So, all right. So do y'all have, I'm guessing, I'm going to try to walk through, as we talk about this, I'm going to try to walk through your process at Build My Team. So do y'all have like a phase one, which would be an assessment?
Well, the first thing we do is we talk with the client about the type of position they're looking to hire.
Okay.
So phase one is whittling down the job description to something that a human can actually do. And what I mean by that is there's so many small businesses where they want to hire a Superman with or without the cape, with or without the glasses. Clark Kent can show up, but sometimes Superman needs to show up. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen in today's hiring environment. So what we do is we whittle it down to we need a person who has essentially the ability to fly, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the one superpower we're looking for, right? All joking aside. But when that job description's published to 20-some different job boards, we get a gazillion applicants in. And that's part of the key. It's all automated, so they immediately start walking through our process. And about half of them, believe it or not, Jeff, they don't even get off their butts to do a single thing.
Yep.
So you think in terms of if they were submitting your resumes to your business, half aren't even going to do anything. And
Yep.
you're still looking through all of them. You're paying for the paper.
Yep.
You just, you're paying for the Band-Aids from the 1,000 paper cuts you're going to get, that type of thing. And so when, when we get rid of the first 50% approximately, from there they start walking through the assessment. The assessments only take about 15 minutes on average. And when they're done, we're going to know more about what they're good at, and in a lot of cases they do. And that sounds a little crazy. But remember, these tend to be younger folks. Like, you're not talking about senior executives here, okay? You're talking about folks who are applying for these jobs. They don't necessarily know what they're applying for. They're going to click the application buttons as fast as they can.
Yep.
This isn't how you and I got jobs a long time ago. I mean, this is the speed run of getting jobs, right? So our software will reach out to them. They get a text within 5 seconds. Why 5 seconds, Jeff? Take a guess.
Why 5 seconds is
Yeah.
so they're concentrating on what it is they're doing at the moment, not go into the next click the application button.
You nailed it. It used to be 10 seconds. They couldn't remember what job they applied for.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. That's how
No, I
bad
know.
it is. And
Yeah.
and if a listener doesn't believe me, get on Indeed. These companies are rewarded by the number of applicants for the job.
Okay, I have to interrupt you here. So I have a couple of questions. One, I want to say, anyone that's listening, if you don't, because how many businesses, I can tell you businesses that I coach, the number that don't have job descriptions is astounding. So if you don't have job descriptions, get busy.
Right. And the job description needs to talk about the contribution they're going to make. That's something everybody can take action on right now.
Yeah.
Not so much the benefits in terms of for the person, but people want to make a difference in the world nowadays.
Yep.
They really do.
Yeah. This is your position on our team. This is what we need you to do. This is how we need you to support us.
Yep.
Giving them a role.
Yeah, and in healthcare, it's super easy because you're going to help grandpa and grandma see better, get the surgeries they need, you name it, whatever it might be. But it's a really definitive, short time frame improvement to a person's life. Well, the same thing goes with a whole bunch of businesses, but they don't talk about that.
Yeah.
So if they're going to talk about that impact the person's going to make, you're going to list all the hours, the locations. I mean, our team does a whole walkthrough, and the free consultation takes about 30 minutes end to end. We know all kinds of information. We put in the job description, we publish it, and the process starts. So our software is hiring for your business 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I could go on and on about that. It completely differentiates. Our clients are differentiated from everybody else because of the professionalism that they're bringing to that hiring process. And guess what? That gets a completely different level of candidate into your business.
Yeah, huge. And I did an episode on this very thing not too long ago. That translates into the onboarding. So they're keeping that experience going into the onboarding process. If you as the business, if you're excited about the hiring phase of these folks and you're professional about it and you're using something like Build My Team to do the hiring, that's the experience they've got, and that's the expectation going forward all the way up to the day you do orientation. It's a big deal.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the A players, that concept. So A players, and I cannot state how categorically important this is, especially nowadays. A players want to work with A players.
Yeah.
They're going to tolerate B players, and they're going to quit their job because of C players. So if you're having troubles in your business retaining people, there's a whole bunch of reasons why it could be happening. But one of the main things we look at is, are your lower talented people, are they actively repulsing these rock stars?
You say that in jest, but that's what it is.
I wish it wasn't jest. Unfortunately, we see it all the time. Healthcare practices are really susceptible to that because the docs or the practice owners, a lot of them have zero HR training whatsoever.
Yeah.
And you can still be successful in a healthcare practice a lot of times in spite of yourselves. So there's not a massive incentive for improvement in bringing on high quality team members. Yeah. Now, in your business and your listeners' businesses, chances are that's a whole different story. And, healthcare is coming around to that type of thing. But the bottom line is that when you bring these A players to the table and get them into your business, everything changes. You would be hard pressed to find a nook and cranny within a business that doesn't improve when you have folks performing at this level.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And then in most instances that lifts up the rest of the team too. Mm-hmm. When you have those folks come in. And
it sure does. Yeah.
I got to tell you, this is, as we're walking through this, it's so comical because you get that resume and then you tell yourself a story, right? Because we know we have the need. We've got the need to hire. And usually in businesses like mine, in small business, by the time we've gotten the need to hire, it's urgent. Because we've put it off. So now we've got this resume, and we go through the resume, and then we're telling ourselves a story of how amazing this person is. I mean, I can draft myself a resume that's unbelievable, but...
Jeff, they didn't write the resume. ChatGPT wrote it for them.
That's right. That's exactly right. So this is like our current day dating world with all the apps, and you can tell your own story, and everybody's got their pictures in there from 9 or 10 years ago. It's the same principle. So you look at these photos and look at the resume, and you tell yourself a story about how great this person is because you have the need.
Right, and then you go on a date with them, and they turn out and they look like Shrek. Right. Their photos are nothing like that. That's interviewing today.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's not going to change because the system that produces those interviews is flawed to begin with.
Right.
Our Build My Team approach, we don't look at resumes until the very end. We don't know if the applicant is male or female. We don't know what they look like. A human has not interacted with those candidates up until our software literally gives a thumbs up. That's the output from our software, it's a thumbs up. At that point, what we do is our system will send them a one-way interview. So what the interview is doing, and it's all automated, is the interview is going to take a look at how they're answering questions. Not really what their responses are, but how they're doing it. And our team reviews these, and what they're looking for is to see how they're going to represent your business. Can you put this person in front of your customers without a problem? Can you, are they do they speak eloquently?
Yeah.
Do they use more slang, more lingo? There's all kinds of stuff we're doing. And all of that is done for you before they ever even come into your office for an interview.
Oh, wow. And is this all automated? So they'll do a phone screen where we're so they're applying for job public speak. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a video interview that they do.
And who's analyzing the video?
Our team.
Okay. So if you're hiring for a job for a public speaker, right? You're somebody to sell your knives. So once a week they have to speak in front of 50 people.
Right.
So I guess one of the things you would be looking for is the mental pause, right? The all the things.
Oh, you bet. How confident are they? Are they the shrinking wallflower that's going to be in the corner?
Yeah.
Are they the type of person that does a video interview while driving a car? That happened to us once. It's incredible what you see when you put the general public through these type of through this type of filter.
Yeah.
And so when this is all said and done, we send over the candidates to the business owner, and they can pick out of the couple candidates that meet all of the requirements. They can show up for the hours you need them to. They don't live too far away. We have all kinds of these types of questions on top of the assessments. And what it really does is save you hours and hours and hours of time. What are you going to do with that time? Well, that's up to you. Grow your business, hang out with your family, go to the kids' soccer games, whatever it might be. That's entirely up to you. But this entire system that we've developed is designed to do one thing and one thing only, and that's to find those A players and the B plus players, bring them into your practice or to your business in a super reliable way, all guaranteed, of course, and incredibly affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right, Jeff?
It does sound too good to be true. I'm waiting for the back of the room pitch.
Yeah, there isn't one. It's guaranteed for 90 days for any reason. And the reason we do that is we have hardly anybody ever take us up on it. Some folks leave the practice or the business, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
because they might move, they might get transferred. The spouse may be transferred, that type of thing. Doesn't matter. It's all guaranteed. That's how predictable this is.
Yeah, that's the way it seems. So when do I start with the interaction? Like, so someone we've posted a job, you guys do all the posting, is that right?
Mm-hmm. We do everything.
Okay. So we've got a job posted, they filled out the questionnaire, they've done the surveys, they've done the video screen. Then when do I start interacting? Do I get one interview? Do I get 2 interviews? How does that work?
How many you want? Yeah, we send over the finalist candidates, and we send over what's called an insight report.
Okay.
The insight report shows you the strengths and talents of the candidates. So, for example, let's say your business needs a secretary, and you have a crazy busy business. What kind of stress tolerance do you need that secretary to have?
Yeah, pretty high.
Pretty high, right? What happens if you get a secretary that has a low stress tolerance?
Yeah, because I looked at her resume. She types 92 words a minute. Yeah. She can answer multi-line phone. She can do SEO. She can do all this stuff. Now I've painted a picture, but I didn't even think about what her stress tolerance is.
Right. How well does he or she follow your process in your business?
I have no idea.
The resume doesn't tell you that, Jeff?
The resume didn't tell me that.
Right. How detail oriented are they?
If I'm going by the resume, pretty detail oriented because they're using spell check, right? Who knows?
Yeah. The how do they like to be communicated with?
Yeah.
How warm and fuzzy are they with customers? Are they more cool and calculated?
No clue.
What motivates them? Are they motivated by teams? Are they motivated individually? We have oodles and oodles of this information about these candidates, and nothing like that comes out of a resume. So that's why when we send these candidates over to the business owner, it's an incredibly sticky position. You have found your specific needle in a stack of needles.
Let me ask you. Okay, so I'm fascinated with this. I love this kind of thing, and you and I actually didn't even get anywhere near this conversation. So, all right. So if I know that I'm looking for someone that's a team player, I'm looking for someone that's motivated by their own output, for someone that's motivated by developing others. Now, can we skew the questions to look for that, or do we get that from the data?
You get that from the data.
Okay.
Yeah. We can tell if somebody can sell or not. We can
from the standard data. Okay.
You name it. All kinds of stuff. Now, I want to throw some caveats on this. This doesn't work for executives. It doesn't work for doctors or hiring really, really high-end people, because our process requires oodles of folks to be put into the funnel at the beginning.
Okay? So I was like, this sounds like exactly what it would be for.
I misspoke. It will work, but you're not going to get in healthcare. You're not going to get 100 doctors applying for a position.
Yeah.
You're not
I see
going
that.
to get. Yeah, you're not going to get, let's say, 100 sales managers applying for a position.
Right.
A far fewer number. Of course, they can run through the assessments. That's perfectly fine. We'll tell you all about them.
Yeah.
And in particular with salespeople, we'll tell you if they're telling the truth or not, because those folks are God's gift to everybody on a resume. We all know that, and it will cut through their ability to sell themselves. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then for administrative positions, we're not looking for experience as well. That's something different about our process. And you say, well, what the heck? I want an experienced secretary. No, you don't. You categorically do not want one.
Right.
What you want is somebody with the natural strengths and talents that the position requires, who's very smart, because we assess that as well. We're looking for how fast they learn, and somebody that you can get up and running in a week or two, or sometimes even faster. But guess what, Jeff? You don't have to undo the bad habits.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I thought that's where you might have been going with that.
Yeah. It's critical with administrative positions. You can, especially when computers are involved, software is involved with your business, that's one thing. In healthcare, we see, somebody can come from Dr. Jones's office and they know that software inside and out, and then they go to Dr. Mike's office. Well, we didn't do it that way.
We didn't do it that way. Yeah.
Okay, so all you're telling me is you're a dinosaur. You are a brontosaurus, and I got to teach you to not be a brontosaurus.
Yep.
I can't do that, right? So what I can do instead is take somebody who doesn't even know that dinosaurs exist,
Yeah.
and they show up for the job. We spend a couple hours for a couple of days teaching them how to use the software, and we're off to the races.
Yeah.
So what we've demonstrated over the years is that for entry level and administrative positions, experience is virtually always a red flag.
Fascinating. Okay, so for the listeners, pay attention to this. I can tell you that when I got comfortable hiring people, then when I started hiring inspectors and actual technical folks, I became a bottleneck again because I didn't want to train. So a lot of times what we'll do is look at a resume, and when we see experience that we might have to train, we grab onto that. Oh, well, they're already experienced, so I'll go for this person. But what you're saying is actually what I've learned to be true is in order to train someone, you have to unteach everything they've learned, and that's almost impossible.
And you know why you didn't want to train them?
I had a horrible training process.
And it didn't work out over and over and over again, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So in psychology, that's called learned helplessness. No matter what you do, you're a rat in a cage, and you can't get out of the cage. You're going to get shocked every time you try and do something. That's training for most business owners.
Yeah.
We don't want to train because 50-50, 3/4 of the time, it doesn't work out.
Yep.
And it's a waste of time. So you go through all of this process to bring great people on board, and then you walk.
Yep.
Right? And it's not, I'm not coming down on anybody. It's just what we do.
It's what we do. Yeah.
It's so busy in a business, especially nowadays, that you got to go do your own stuff.
Yeah.
So what we switch with this process, what is completely shocking to our clients, is we'll put somebody in front of you that's a sponge. They're going to look at you, and you tell them a couple of things, and boom, they're off.
Yeah.
You tell them a couple more things, boom, they're off. You're not. This is essentially revolutionary. You are not a professional cat herder. You are not a kindergarten teacher. And our Build My Team customers don't own spoons because they don't have to spoon feed anybody on a regular basis. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a different, I'll joking aside again, it's just a different approach to doing this.
Yeah.
And when you get these A players, if you try and spoon feed them, you try and cat herd them, they'll walk. They're out the door.
Yep. They don't have
They don't
tolerance.
want to have they don't want somebody hovering over them.
Yeah.
Get away. I got work to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So this system is this is ideal for the small business. Hiring in that, I wouldn't say entry level. It's a little more complex than entry level, but hiring in those middle tier positions.
Yeah, I think if you have a role in your business that is extremely well defined, so for example, a secretary, I don't even know how many secretaries we've hired throughout North America. It's a bunch. Yeah. And your business, a lot of business owners say, well, my business is different. Yeah. I understand that. You know it best. What isn't any different is a secretary. You're going to have 5-10% variation from one business to another, and those two businesses won't look anything like the other. But for example, a secretary needs to interact with people. Check that box. They need to maybe pick up the phones, answer emails, schedule, do administrative clerical tasks, all those types of things. What's making your business a little bit different is the percentage of each, the relative ratio, how much customer service or how much front-facing customer interaction they're going to have, things like that. And that's what our team works through on the initial discussion to get all of that information so that we can essentially customize a role direct for your business and find that person who's going to meet those requirements.
I love it. I know every business is going to be different, and I know every role is going to be different. I'm curious, just like a general ballpark of cost. Is this a monthly thing? Can you do continuous recruiting for companies? How does this work?
Yeah, we have two pricing models. One's a one-time fee, extremely affordable, and the other is what we call our membership. So it's a very small monthly fee with a reduced price per hire. Everything we do is per hire.
Okay.
And It also, and this is a big difference, it doesn't depend at all. There is no tie whatsoever to how much that person earns. None. It's a flat fee.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a flat fee. So the reason we structure it like that is we do not want anything that we make more money the more money you spend on a hire. That's wrong.
Yeah.
It's dead wrong. One of the questions we ask as part of what we call our knockout questions, and these are automated, is having the person put the first number on the table. How much are you looking to earn per hour? Well, guess what? They say $15. Great. If your business is willing to pay 25, you don't pay them 25. You offer them 17. They'll jump for joy.
15's
Right?
their anchor, right?
Yeah. Now, if they're saying 25 and you can offer 15, that's going nowhere.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So that type of person would be eliminated by our software.
Yep.
You're not wasting any time with that. And we also have questions like, here are the hours you're expected to work. And this is a fun thing. So many people nowadays want laptop jobs, work from home jobs.
Yep.
Well, guess what? In healthcare, where we grew up, you can't do that.
Yeah.
There's only a handful of positions you can do from home.
Right.
You go to the dentist, somebody needs to be in front of you, right? You go to any doctor, that's how it works. So when we put these hours out, here are the hours you're expected to work, hours and days. Can you work those hours, yes or no?
Right.
You'll notice the lack of negotiation in
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
question, right?
Yep.
It's a yes or no question. You either work them or not. If the answer is no, terrific. We understand. You're moved out of our process.
Yeah.
Now, how many small business owners, before they even set up the interview, are asking those questions?
Oh my gosh, not many.
Right.
And you put it in the job description and kind of slide it in there and hope they read it.
They didn't.
No.
So the cart's now before the horse.
Yep.
And you spend all this time and effort to get the person into an interview, only to find out they need Tuesdays off because of whatever excuse they make up at the time.
Yeah, and you're being very generous saying that we find out in the interview. Usually find out on the orientation on the day of onboarding, their first day of work.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know I was going to.
Yeah. What do you mean? I have to. No, I need to work Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 2, but I'm gonna need a 2-hour lunch.
Yeah. I could have sworn you said this was part-time. I could have sworn. I've actually had that happen.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a whole different level of enjoyment when you get these people put in front of you by our system, by Build My Team, and all of a sudden they can actually do it.
Yeah.
You're not tiptoeing and dancing into these discussions in an interview.
Right.
Oh, Jeff, is it okay if you come in Monday morning at 9:00, or would you prefer to start somewhere between 10 to 12? We don't have those types of discussions because they already know, hey, it's 9:00.
Yeah.
It's not 9:05.
Yep.
It's 9:00.
Yep.
And those A players, they're not coming in at 9. They're coming in earlier than that, so they get a jump on everything.
And I love the money question too, because they have anonymity when you're asking about pay.
Yeah.
That's what I use in a phone screen where, and when I'm talking with someone, I will say, hey, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm not trying to pin, because I have to preface it. And everybody's like, oh, I don't know. I've never had a job like that. Okay, well,
Right.
We expect you to work for free. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I want to do that. Okay, well, then give me an answer. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and this is where they're talking to they're texting back and forth, or they're interacting with our software via the web.
Okay.
That's how that works. And it's completely anonymous. And again, we don't know who this person is. Nobody's looked at their name. This is 100% automated. It also completely removes bias from the client side of things, because they have no clue who these people are. They're just looking at what we call our insight report, which tells them, that's our deliverable, tells them all about the strengths and talents of these people.
Yeah, I like this.
So
how do folks find you? Go ahead.
Well, if buildmyteam.com is how they find us. And if you really want to get past all of the BS and all of the time wasting and all of the dancing and negotiation with these folks, and move straight to I want performers. I want A players in my business. This is how you do it. It's very direct, automated, not emotional, not empathetic. This is designed to deliver one outcome only, and that's to get performers in your business.
Yeah.
So buildmyteam.com.
And the way that you're the time saving, like the time that you get back. Have you read that book, Buy Back Your Time?
Yeah.
This follows that.
Our clients can hire somebody from the initial discussion with our team member through to a hired person in under 60 minutes.
Wow.
This happens routinely.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
This has been great for me, actually. I appreciate it. And then, is there any kind of, like, do you offer at buildmyteam.com? Is there anything there that could help folks write job descriptions, help them get kind of pointed in the right direction, or is it?
Yeah, we have oodles of podcasts to listen to where there's all kinds of nuggets in the podcasts. The website has a bunch of stuff on it that's designed to help folks. Right. And what we do is just simply make it supremely easy and cost effective to have our team do it versus the owners themselves.
Yeah, it's like a widget, right? Now you're just recreating it over and over and over. You have such an economy of scale. Whereas in a small business, we're hiring, 1 or 2 times a year.
And remember, we have a feedback loop, and this is absolutely critical. So every one of our clients, when they hire somebody, we ask them for feedback. And if somebody leaves, we ask them for even more feedback. And that's all plugged back into our engine. So this gets extremely accurate very, very quickly.
Yeah, so your system's learning constantly.
Right. And so our team members will have hired more people by noon than a lot of small businesses do all year.
Yeah. Yep.
They're just good at it. They do one thing and one thing over and over again. And I'm supremely proud of our team. They are fantastic by design. We're lucky enough to have that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So you have a great solution for small business. Build My Team. Wish I'd have known. I could tell you story after story, but I won't tell you about the girl that I hired that the very first day she spent driving a company car down to see her husband in prison. I won't tell you about that one. That was a perfect match.
So the question I have is, did he come back with her? And do you still have that? Do you still have that company vehicle, or was that impounded?
No, it was. She just was AWOL. And everybody's like, well, I don't know. She was with me this morning for training. She said she was running to the store. She'd be right back. It's like, what? Running to the store? Why'd you even let her go to the store? So we looked on the tracking, and she had gone. It was like 25 miles down from downtown to a prison.
You had to buy a cake and a file. That's what you needed at the store.
That's it. Yep. Wow. This has been great, man. I really appreciate it, Michael. And
same, Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure folks have learned something. So that's buildmyteam.com. Easiest way to get in touch with these folks. And I can tell you from experience, if you don't have a process, this would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to All Can, No Can't. If today's episode resonated with you, remember, it's not about the chaos you face. It's about how you choose to take back control. It's about finding that one small can in the can't you're given and grinding it down. Find your angle, carve your place out in the world, and get the fucking win. Do that by finding what you can do and not listening to what you can't. You choose. Be sure to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Your support helps me reach more people that are ready to embrace the all-can mindset. And it lets them know there's someone that's willing to walk with them no matter how dark the path gets. You can find me on Insta at JDLuther 2.0 and allcan_no-can't. This is where I share more tips, stories, inspiration to help fuel your journey. And until next time, keep pushing boundaries, breaking limits, proving to yourself that anything is possible, even when you're told it isn't. Remember, life's not about can't. It's all can. Go prove them wrong.